everyone, and welcome to LoroSportsPod and Sportscenter show. I'm Antonio. With me today is Matt Bridgewater. We got a lot to talk about today here on our show. So, Matt, how's it going?
Going well. How are you doing?
Doing great. Lots of sports to talk about. We got OBJ news and all that. So, first off, let's start with the NFL and start with the Week 9 recap for some of the teams that we follow. So your Lions had a bye week, and they're prepared to be taking the field in Week 10, which we're going to be talking about in a minute, as the Detroit Lions are going to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up. So are the Detroit Lions ready to get win number one at some point in this second half of the season?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, it'd be a bad season if they don't. They should. I think the spread in this game is Pittsburgh by 8. I think it'll be closer than that. I think the Lions are coming off a bye, and Pittsburgh, I think they have various issues with their offense at times. So they're not an explosive offensive team, I don't think. So I think the Lions could be in a position to at least cover the spread, maybe even get a win.
And then also the LA Chargers defeated the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'll tell you what, that was a pretty good game for the Chargers.
It was, yeah. Herbert got AFC Offensive Player of the Week, and he looked great out there. I love how they don't ask him to go out there and sling it all over the place, but when they do ask him to go long or go deep, he throws one heck of a good pass. And the play calling on offense, I think, has been really good this year. It was good to see him snap out of a funk that he was in against Baltimore and continued on to New England. But I think that he snapped out of that with authority at Philadelphia, and they'll be hosting Minnesota on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going to be at that game, right, when the Chargers have their next home game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so honestly, the Chargers, however, are going to be taking on who again?
The Vikings.
Oh, yeah, I meant to say that. So the Chargers and the Vikings will go head-to-head, and we'll see what happens here. So let's also talk about the Patriots, however, defeating the Carolina Panthers. They held them to 6 points. You said that this is going to be an interesting race between the Patriots and the Bills for that top spot in the AFC East.
Yeah.
So what was your thoughts on that play that Mac Jones made the tackle and that it hurt Brian Burns? Did you think that was a dirty play?
Yeah, I think it was. He hurt himself because of that. I think yanking on a guy's leg in that situation is not what you want to be doing. I don't know if it. I don't know if it violates a rule. I don't think it, but I think that that's a high injury type of play that you could be causing for somebody. So I think that regardless, perhaps they could wrap it under unsportsmanlike conduct or something like that. That it just doesn't seem in the spirit of the game to be yanking on somebody's ankle while they're trying to run for a loose ball. I think it was dirty, but I also understand that he's trying to make a play. He's probably just being reactive to the situation, and he's on the ground. He can't do anything except grab the guy from that angle. So I don't think Mac Jones is. I think the coaching staff should probably let him know like that doesn't look good to be doing something like that. And he injured the guy, so that's the bigger takeaway there.
Yes, absolutely. So, anyways, now let's talk about some of our biggest Week 9 takeaways here. So, one of my takeaways is that it was upset Sunday. One of my biggest takeaways, I have 3. The Jags beating the Bills 9-6. It was a basketball type kind of game, and then the Denver Broncos blowing out the Dallas Cowboys. Who would have thought that would have happened? And then the refs being the refs having a bad game against making calls on the Steelers and on the Bears on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and don't forget the Titans thrashing the Rams as well.
Yeah, that was terrible too.
And then also the couple other strange games. The Giants upsetting the Raiders. The Ravens needing overtime to dispatch the Vikings. That was kind of a strange one. And then the Browns thrashing the Bengals. It's fine the Browns won, but I didn't expect a 41-16 score like that.
I didn't either. I didn't expect any of that, but we'll see what happens here. But going back to Monday Night Football, did you think that Tony Corrente did was unacceptable to Cassius Marsh?
What happened?
When Cassius Marsh bumped into Tony Corrente and then he threw that penalty marker down.
He didn't have to do that, but the thing is, you're not supposed to touch the ref ever. And in that situation, I think if I remember the play, he came up from behind the ref and kind of bumped him with his shoulder. It was an innocent play, but the ref just knows, I've been hit by this player. And I mean, what are you supposed to do? So I didn't have that big of a problem with it. I mean, he didn't have to throw it, I suppose, but I mean, you can't go up and touch a referee like that. And the referee, if I remember correctly, wasn't facing towards the player, or it wasn't he could tell he's oh, this is just an incidental bump, whatever. He got nudged fairly hard, and can't do that. So that play I didn't quite have that big of a problem with.
Yes, absolutely. So anyways, now with that being said, time to go preview week 10. So first things first, we kick things off with Thursday Night Football as the Baltimore Ravens take on the Miami Dolphins the day after Veterans Day. So forgot to mention this before the start of this. So happy Veterans Day to those who have served the United States of America and continue to make the ultimate sacrifice and continue to have freedom in our country. So thank you, veterans, and thank you, troops. That's tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, yep. It'll be on Veterans Day. Yeah, thank you to the veterans as well.
So, Ravens, Dolphins. Who's your pick to win that game?
Ravens. Yeah, I just don't see the Dolphins as being very competitive right now. And it looks like Tua might not play.
Yeah, short week. Maybe want to get something done here,
Yep.
Want to try to save him for the next game. But the Dolphins, it's just not been their year in offense. Something has to change. I don't think Brian Flores is on the hot seat. He's safe, but I just think something has to change.
Yeah, I think he is on the hot seat. I think that they went all in with Tua. I thought they had a chance this past year, this offseason, to move off him, and he made an executive decision to stick with him, and it didn't work out. And I think he can definitely be on the hot seat for that. This is year 4, right? Or year 3?
Year 3 for Brian Flores.
Yeah. What they'll have to do is they'll need to draft another quarterback in this draft, and that's going to require another 2 years or so of development. And I don't know if they're going to have. Why not just bring in your own guy? You're a new head coach and let him have at it. But I don't know. I mean, I think he's on the hot seat, but it's year 3 and they're 2-7. So.
All right. So now with that being said here, so now moving on to our Sunday slate, you got the New England Patriots taking on the Cleveland Browns. That is going to be a really good game, but Nick Chubb tested positive for COVID-19. Odell Beckham Jr. out. What are the chances that you could see Odell Beckham Jr. with the Patriots or the Packers?
Very good chance. I think that the Packers would be the best situation for him as far as team wise. Now, I thought I heard him say like he doesn't want to go to Green Bay. He doesn't like Green Bay. Or doesn't want to play in Green Bay just because it doesn't like the town, whatever. But you've got to you're only going there to play during the regular season. You're going there to win a championship, So I think he'd be foolish not to go to Green Bay. I think that's the best fit. I hope he doesn't go to the Saints. I don't see any rationale behind that other than he'd want to be back home. But that team has too many issues. They don't have their quarterback now, and I just don't understand why that'd be a good move for him. I think the Chiefs and maybe the Patriots are in the running too. With the Chiefs, I think going there to play with Mahomes and all that would be a pretty good splash, I think the Packers too signing Odell Beckham, it'll kind of change the topic from Aaron Rodgers and the comments he made and him violating protocol. But I also think the Patriots would be a good landing spot for him. I think that this would give the Patriots a big weapon on offense. I think the Belichick system, he could do well in it. I think other big personalities have done well in the Belichick system. So, I think it's going to be Packers, Chiefs, Patriots, maybe Saints will be, I think, are his top 4 choices.
All right. Now, who's your pick to win between the Patriots and the Browns?
I'm going to go. You said Nick Chubb is out.
He could be out, but he has to test negative twice in order for him to play.
Okay, yeah. I'm still going to go with the Browns there. I think that there's some question mark about Nick Chubb, but I think the Browns are going to give the Patriots all they can handle and might eke out a win. I'm going to go with the Browns.
That could definitely happen there. We'll have to wait and see. So, anyways, I'm going with the Patriots too. I think that the Patriots are playing good football right now, and I think that the Patriots will end up being 6-4. They could end up being in first place in the AFC East before you know. So now let's talk about the Bills and the New York Jets. So this is my upset special. I picked the Jets to beat the Bills so that the Patriots could be in first place in the AFC East. What about you?
Oh, that's a huge upset. Bills are 12.5-point favorites.
And who's your pick to win between the Bills and the Jets?
I'm going with the Bills.
And why do you go for the Bills?
I think that although they're having their offensive issues right now, I don't think the Jets have not looked good in a couple of games. They've given up a ton of offensive points. And I think that Bills go in there and look pretty good.
Yes, I think so too. So anyways, with that being said, now let's talk about the Buccaneers versus the Washington football team. That's an obvious choice for us. I'm picking Tom Brady and the Bucs to win this game.
What
about you?
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucs too.
So anyways, let's talk about who's going to win between the Falcons and the Cowboys. Who would have thought that the Falcons would come into the Bayou and beat the Saints?
Yeah, I thought they might have a shot, but yeah, the Falcons are a tough team to put your finger on right now. That they're 4-4. I don't think they're a playoff team, but they technically are right now. I think they're like a 6 seed if the playoffs were to start today. So, Arthur Smith's done a really nice job, I think, with that. I think this team is showing improvement.
Yes, they are. They are definitely showing some improvement here. So, did you say again you have the Falcons? I picked the Cowboys. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Cowboys still. I think they bounced back. That was kind of a weird game they played. The offense looked completely out of sync. I think they had to deal with Dak coming back from his injury off in a short week for him with getting practice reps in. So I think the Cowboys bounce back.
And then what about the Saints and the Titans? I picked Saints to win this game after losing to the Falcons.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think they're at home. And I think this defense is on fire. And with the Saints having to turn to a backup quarterback, it's going to be tough for the Saints. They're going to try to run Alvin Kamara a lot, I think. But they're going to be kind of one-dimensional.
Yeah, I think so too. So, anyways, let's talk about who's going to win between the Jags and the Colts. An AFC South showdown in Indianapolis to start off Week 10. I'm going to pick the Colts in this game. I just think that the Jags are still not good. I don't think Urban Meyer's going to get fired after year one.
No, I don't think so either. I think that they've gotten a couple. They got that win against the Bills is huge. 9-6. It was an ugly game, but man, they made Josh Allen and that offense look like they were back in high school or something. So I think the Colts, though, put a whooping on the Jags and win easily.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways, I just think the Colts will bounce back here. So, anyways, your Detroit Lions are taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I'll tell you what here. This is definitely after the Steelers kind of got lucky against the Bears. They could have lost that game. I just think that the Steelers are still going to win this game, but I still predict the Lions will still go 0-17.
Okay, I think the Steelers are going to win too.
So do you think the Lions – can you compare the Lions team this year to the 2008 team still?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're heading that way. They got to – and the thing is, like, Goff just looks terrible. And, that's the big problem with that offense. So –
that's not Dan Campbell's fault for it, though. He's doing everything he can to get this team to play and fight.
Yep, I agree.
But you think that the Lions are still fighting for Campbell?
Yes, I think so.
But do you think he's the right man for this job as the head coach of the Detroit Lions?
I still think so. Yep.
Now let's talk about who is going to be. Let's talk about the late game. So the Minnesota Vikings take on the LA Chargers. You're going to be at that game. You get to see what Kirk Cousins is all about. When you talk about the Vikings, is it safe to say that Mike Zimmer is going to get fired at the end of the season?
Yeah, that's a good question. The thing is the Zimmer, like, they've always been this kind of team under him, and that's where they're an 8-8 or 9-8 team. That's just kind of where they are most years, I think, on average. So, I think that it's possible they could fire him. It's possible they could draft like a replacement to Kirk Cousins and maybe think about moving off of Kirk. Cousins is one of those. He's such a unique quarterback in that he tends to shrink in big games. He won't put up, huge numbers, but he often doesn't make mistakes, and he does what he's asked to do. He's kind of like, a bottom tier quarterback, obviously, for the NFL. But, I wonder if, look at Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill, though. No one says, oh, Tannehill's going to go out there and light it up. No, they have an offense based around Derrick Henry, and then they go all in on defense. And Zimmer's a defensive guy. And if you can't get the defense right in Minnesota and they're losing games because of that, I'd say you got to bring in someone else. But if they fire Zimmer, they'll probably go with an offensive-minded head coach. They always, they usually rotate between defensive and offensive-minded coaches. So I think he's on the hot seat for sure.
You think he is?
Yeah, and I think the Chargers will win on Sunday.
I think so too. I mean, the Chargers are. I think that the Chargers will definitely win this game, and I really think that. I really think that we'll see the Chargers get another win here, and I think they might as well win the AFC West. It's probably going to be between the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yep. The AFC West, that's a tough division. It's like AFC North, similar, where any of these teams can win it. They all have strengths and they're all flawed. I think the Broncos are the worst team in the AFC West, but their record shows that they are 5-4, I believe. So that's great. And AFC North is the same, where you have the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns all at 5-4, I think. One of those teams has to end up in last place. It's just they're two good divisions. And all those teams have flaws, except the Ravens are probably the closest to being, not having so big of a flaw. But
yeah, that's absolutely. So, anyways, now let's talk about the Panthers and the Cardinals. So, Sam Darnold out for a while. We'll get to see P.J. Walker starting. So, I think Kyler Murray will be back, and I think that we'll see the Cardinals get another win.
Yep. This is my lock of the week. I'm going to go with Cardinals over Panthers.
I'm with you on that.
Yep.
So, talk about the Seahawks and the Packers. Will we see Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers go head-to-head in Week 10?
I think we will. Looks like Russell Wilson's been cleared. He'll be coming back. And I think Rodgers will be cleared, and he'll be back as well. I like Green Bay in this game.
Yeah, me too. I think Green Bay always dominates the Seahawks at home, and then I think when the Seahawks play the Packers at home, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's talk about the Eagles and the Broncos. So, I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. I think that Jalen Hurts never gives up in games, and I think that Jalen Hurts is going to be he's going to have another good game here.
Yeah, I kind of like the development of Jalen Hurts so far this year. I think he's been doing better, and he's turning into a bit of a dual threat quarterback. I'm also, I'm picking this. I'm picking this as my second upset special of the week. I'm going with the Eagles over Broncos.
Yeah, that's one of my upsets too. I mean, Denver is good. Denver, there's sometimes a team that just is like one week they're good and they're going to be bad this week. So a lot of people want Vic Fangio out of there, but there's a chance that he could stay.
Yeah, there's a chance he could stay. I think if I've heard that him and his offensive coordinator are not on the same page. If he stays, they're going to end up going with a new offensive coordinator. I don't think he's in much of it is in so much danger of getting fired as he was, I thought, a few weeks ago. But I'm going with the Eagles to pull an upset here.
All right. Now, that being said here, the next thing we're going to be talking about next is Sunday Night Football. Looking forward to this game. The Chiefs taking on the Raiders. So I'm not sure if I'm going to pick the Chiefs in this game. They have a lot of problems still. So I'm going to pick the Raiders to win this game. I just think that there's just too much trouble in Kansas City right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs, but I totally agree with you that I would have picked the Raiders if they didn't look so bad at New York this past week. I thought their offense looked way out of sync. I think the Henry Ruggs situation maybe affecting the team. The Raiders too are flawed. I think they're dealing with a lot of internal stuff, and I think that the Chiefs find another way to get a win here. I think that they go into Las Vegas and get a W, but it's going to be a pretty ugly game from both teams.
Yeah, it could be an ugly game for both teams, but we'll just have to wait and see here. So, anyways, now let's talk about Monday Night Football. So, Monday Night Football tonight, on Monday, we get to see the Rams and 49ers. Could we see this being a close game? Because I know that Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay like to play chess when they go head-to-head,
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams here. I think they're going to want to respond from a dreadful performance against the Titans. And I think they go into Santa Clara and get the win.
They are going to get the win. I have a really good feeling about it. But talking about the Niners, is Kyle Shanahan and one of your coaches that's going to be on the hot seat at the end of the season?
I think so. Like, look, he's in year 4, is it?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people think he's not a good coach because he's blown big leads in like Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to have like a downward trajectory going on where it's like each year his team gets worse. And I don't know if he can figure out the Garoppolo Trey Lance thing. I don't know what's going on with that. I think that he's been outcoached in several games within his division and within the conference. They looked bad home against Arizona, which was without DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray. I thought for sure, like, okay, here's where Kyle Shanahan, you step it up and you get a win, and they got blown out. So it didn't happen.
Yeah, it did not happen there. So now let's talk about some baseball. So we got the Gold Glove winners here. So let's tell you the winners here of the Gold Glove Award winners, and then we'll talk about our reaction here to the Gold Glove Award winners here. So let's take a look at our winners for the 2021 Rawlings Gold Glove winners for the National and American League. So let's start with the National League. So we got Max Fried, Jacob Stallings are both Gold Glove winners of the Gold Glove pitchers and catchers. And then the Gold Glove infield is Paul Goldschmidt, Tommy Edman, Brandon Crawford, Nolan Arenado, and then the outfield, Adam Duvall, Tyler O'Neill, and Harrison Bader. What sticks out to me in this NL winner bracket here is that most of the Cardinals took home Gold Gloves here. The most teams with Gold Glove winners.
Yeah, they did. Why do you think that is?
Best defensive team this past season.
Uh-huh.
That's what I think. What about you?
Max Muncy was a runner-up for first base.
Yeah, and too bad no Dodger won this award.
Yep. Were there any other runners-up with the Dodgers?
There was Mookie Betts in right field, and then Nick Castellanos, he's a Silver Slugger candidate here. And then A.J. Pollock was a runner-up for left field too, you know?
Uh-huh.
And then to the American League, we got Sean Murphy, Dallas Keuchel, Gold Glove pitcher and catcher. Gold Glove infield, Yuli Gurriel, Marcus Semien, Carlos Correa, and Matt Chapman. And then Joey Gallo, Michael A. Taylor, and Andrew Benintendi are the American League winners. And what was your thoughts on that on the American League side here?
They seemed all pretty deserving.
Yeah, I think so too. So now let's talk about Corey Seager. So there has been interesting reports here that you think Corey Seager will be a Yankee, but there's also news that he could be an Angel. No, a Ranger or an Angel, but maybe the Rangers because of his close relationship with Chris Woodward. So what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be somewhere else other than the Dodgers. I know that. So I think he'll still go to the Yankees, but yeah, we'll see.
Do you think he remains with the Dodgers, or do you think they're going to move Trey Turner to shortstop?
I think they will move Trey Turner.
That's a good backup scenario that we see here, but I do expect the Dodgers to still be active this offseason. But anyways, let's talk about will Chris Taylor stay with the Dodgers under the qualifying offer?
That's a good question. I don't know. What do you think?
He might. I think he will. I think the Dodgers need bench production because I think that the universal DH is most likely coming to the NL in 2022. I think we're going to see that.
Yep.
So, anyways, let's talk about some CBA talk. So, do you think you'll see a change in the playoff format?
Yeah, there might be, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I think we could see a change from 10 to 14 teams, but we got a report that I thought that was fake news here. The one I sent you, an anonymous insider said that CBA talks are bad as ever. And that insider or that anonymous executive predicted 2.5 months of pain. And that was according to MLB Network's John Heyman. When I saw that report leak out, I was like, would Manfred and Clark read this? I would think no, because Rob Manfred, Tony Clark, Dan Halem, and whoever is in charge of the negotiations with the players know what the progress is in the CBA. So when I sent you when you read that article, what was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know. They seem still a little bit far off. I think right now I'd be leaning towards that there's going to be a shortened season.
I don't think there will be.
Okay.
I just don't think so by reading it. I mean, people could say all they want, but I know that Manfred and Clark don't leak info about if we're going to go for a strike or a lockout. No, they're not that type of people that would say that. Because I know that Rob Manfred and Tony Clark and the negotiating teams for both the players and the league are working hard and tirelessly in getting a new deal done before December 1st. And I still think that it will happen. We still have plenty of time to get this done.
Yeah.
Even though that sides have begun talking in April about a new CBA, and then Rob Manfred already said that the league will somehow revert to the old rules in the new CBA after the All-Star break. Tony Clark said that sides have been meeting regularly, both formally and informally, and that sides have been talking twice a week. That's from what I've gathered. So do you think that we'll see a new collective bargaining agreement be in place before December 1st? I still think we will.
Hopefully, but that seems too optimistic.
I just don't want another shortened season because of what happened in 2020 with COVID and what this nation has been through with COVID-19. That's why I think that they're going to agree something, but I think that they'll figure it out. But anyways, what's your thoughts on the Dodgers signing Andrew Heaney?
Probably a good signing. I think it's worth it. What do you think?
It could be like the Dodgers know it's kind of a low risk signing that they could try to get players that have not had really good track records back on track. He could be that next Robbie Ray from what I heard. But do you think the Dodgers will keep Clayton Kershaw still and Max Scherzer despite this?
Yeah, I think that, I think there's a better chance he's going to go back to Texas. But, they might deem it appropriate to hold on to him still.
You think that the Dodgers have a really good chance to keep Kershaw, or do you think that maybe he throws a curveball and then just retires?
Ooh, that'd be interesting if he just straight up retires. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think will happen?
That's a really good question that you have here. Maybe we could see Clayton Kershaw retire. I think that, the Dodgers might want to start a little bit young. They got to get younger at some point. And I think the Dodgers will somehow do their due diligence to keep Clayton in LA. I think they will. But I think that there's going to be some moves that need to happen. Like, you probably would need to move what's his face? You might need to move David Price and Trevor Bauer off. But I think from what I'm hearing that Trevor Bauer might be playing in 2022. Do you think he'll be with the Dodgers? I
don't think he'll be with the Dodgers, no.
Why don't you not think he'll be a Dodger even though he opted in the contract?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be too awkward for them to keep him on the team.
It is going to be too awkward. I think the Dodgers need to somehow void that contract. Do you think Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw stay with the Dodgers, and then you may move Andrew Heaney to the bullpen or something like that?
Yeah.
Because I think that's what the Dodgers might do with Heaney. Not make him the starter, but make him a reliever here.
Uh-huh.
So, anyways, let's talk about a little bit about some free agent shortstops. Will Carlos Correa leave the Astros and join your Detroit Tigers?
I think, yeah.
And do you think that if that happens, do you think that the Detroit Tigers will compete in the American League Central?
Yes.
What about this move here? Kyle Seager to the Yankees. Because I think that the Yankees could keep Gleyber at short, and then you put DJ LeMahieu at second. Yankees need a left-handed bat, so I think Kyle Seager would fit that bill.
Yeah, I think that would work too.
What about Corey Seager to the Rangers? That's another team that's thrown in there.
Yeah, that's possible, but I think he's going to want to go to the Yankees over them.
The reason I heard that because he has a relationship with former Dodgers third base coach Chris Woodward, who's currently the manager. Who's currently the manager of the Rangers.
Okay.
So that's what I'm hearing here. So let's talk about who do you think is going to be more active this offseason. Is it the Angels or is it the Phillies?
I think it's going to be the Angels.
And who do you think? Which starting pitcher do you think they're going to get? Do you think they're going to get Kevin Gausman? Do you think they go Marcus Stroman? Do they go Max Scherzer if Bauer stays with the Dodgers? Do they go Verlander? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, all those could be viable options, but maybe Stroman, I think, is the one they'll target.
Maybe Stroman back to the American League. I think I would like to see him be with the Mets, but I think the Mets are going to do whatever they can to keep Noah Syndergaard and Jacob deGrom at the top of the rotation. So, do you think Syndergaard stays with the Mets?
Yeah, I think he does.
What about the A's? So the A's might trade Matt Olson. Do you think that if he does get traded, will he be a Yankee?
It's possible. Yeah. What do you think?
It is. The A's might go on a fire sale, but I think the Yankees are going to keep Anthony Rizzo. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's possible.
So, anyways, we're hearing that. So, what is your thoughts and reaction on Vlad Jr. and Bryce Harper winning the Hank Aaron Award?
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah, it is good for them. So now on to the NBA. So the Lakers, however, 0-2 against OKC. That's kind of disappointing. They got blown out by Portland, and then Monday they beat the Charlotte Hornets in overtime. So is there still a lot of work for the Lakers to do?
Yes, there is, yeah.
So what do you think the Lakers need to do to get them back on the winning track? Do you think there's their chance that they still are the number one seed in the Western Conference?
It's possible. I think Golden State looks like a much better team right now. And the Lakers, they can't be focused on becoming the number one seed. They got to make sure their guys are rested and healthy. Injuries are going to be a big issue for this team. Like LeBron's already having to sit out games, and that's a big concern, I think, going forward. So, yeah, I think that I don't see them finishing number one. The fact that they've lost twice to Oklahoma City, that's concerning. Big leads they blew in that game, too. I don't know really what happened there. So they're still contenders, though. And by the time the playoffs come around, if they're healthy, they'll be contending.
Yes, it's about getting healthy. That is what the Lakers are about here. So the Lakers tonight, they take on the Miami Heat. So do you think that the Lakers can beat the Miami Heat tonight?
Yeah. Although
Even
Miami's
though
been doing really good.
you talk about the Miami Heat, they have Butler, Bam, and Kyle Lowry. And I was told that the Miami Heat were a star away from being contenders, though.
Yeah.
Do you think, so right now Miami's number one in the East. So do you think that the Miami Heat could win the championship this year?
Yes, they are playing excellent basketball. I think that by the end of the season, though, you'll see the Bucks and the Sixers and the Nets, maybe, if the Nets can figure out what's going on with Kyrie. I think that it'll be a tough conference. It's tougher than the West this year.
It is tougher than the West. So anyway, so the Lakers, can they beat the T-Wolves and the Spurs and the Bulls coming up?
The Bulls, that'll be a fun game because the Bulls look like they're pretty good too.
And then the Spurs are not that great, but they show fight for pop.
Yeah, they do.
And then the T-Wolves, they have the talent, but they just can't stay healthy.
Yep.
So talk about throughout the first 3 weeks of the NBA season, who is by far the disappointment so far? I'm going to say the Boston Celtics, 4-6 right now.
Yeah, I think they're up there. Yeah, they've had a tough start to the season.
And then talk about the Pelicans, 1-10. How can they get out of this 1-10 start? They're supposed to be a team that could be really good. You got Willie Green, a good young head coach. Zion Williamson could benefit from a young coach.
Yeah, they're just a mess of an organization, and Zion probably can't wait to get out of there.
Why do you think he can't wait to get out of the Pelicans?
I mean, they're 1-10. He's often injured. I don't think he can even lead a team. I don't know what his future holds for him.
But no surprise the Houston Rockets are 1-9, but they always are competitive in games. I think that if you look at the rebuilding teams, I think the Rockets are better than OKC.
Yeah.
But they're too good to be 1-9, but I'm not saying that they're going to make the playoffs or something like that. They're probably going to be another lottery team this year.
Yeah.
What about your Detroit Pistons?
Yeah, they look pretty bad. They're not going to be surprising anyone this year, I don't think.
You're playing the Rockets. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green going head-to-head, the top 2 picks in this year's draft. What do you think of Cade Cunningham so far? And do you think that he is developing slowly?
Yeah, he's developing slowly.
What about Killian Hayes?
I think they're going to be good, but they're just they're going to need some time.
They're a young team, and I know that they are. I don't think it's Dwayne Casey's fault.
No, but that's a tough start for them too. 1-8.
It is, but the Lakers even play them next week. I can't wait to talk about that with you.
Yeah.
Do you think you could beat us?
No.
Or would you be shocked if Detroit would beat a LeBron-less Lakers team?
I'd still be shocked. Yeah, they shouldn't beat the Lakers.
They shouldn't, but Lakers shouldn't beat OKC. They should have beat OKC twice.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the Sixers and that story with Ben Simmons. That is toxic. Are the Sixers a better team without Ben Simmons at this moment?
Yeah, they'd be better though if they could trade him and get some other pieces to their to Philadelphia. So they need to trade him.
And why do you think they need to trade Ben Simmons?
It's good for the league. It's good for the fans. Put him on a new team. Sixers.
Which NBA head coach to use on the hot seat right now? Is it Dwayne Casey? Is it Luke Walton? Or is it Steve Silas?
All three.
Why do you say it's all three?
They all have pretty bad records.
I mean, it's not Dwayne Casey's fault for all this. But do you think he's the right person to lead the Pistons into this rebuild?
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah, I don't know.
I could imagine you at Little Caesars Arena because I think you'd be the only one there watching Pistons games, hearing John Mason on the PA system saying Detroit basketball.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't you like that guy, by the way?
Yeah, he's great.
the PA announcer for the Pistons, John Mason, the guy that says Detroit basketball.
Yep. He's wonderful.
He is funny too, you know?
Yep.
So, anyways, now let's talk about some hockey. So, the Kings, however, came off really good back-to-back wins. They have won 5 in a row. Do you think that their win streak will last until Ottawa and Winnipeg?
Well, who are they playing next?
Ottawa. In Ottawa, in the hockey capital of the world.
Oh, yeah. I think they'll get a win there.
And what about the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg?
That'll be a tougher one for them. I don't think they'll win there.
Also, what's your thoughts on the Blackhawks firing Jeremy Colton as their head coach?
Yeah, they're in a mess of they're in a mess right now, just record-wise, bad contracts, I think, on the team. Of course, they had the sexual assault thing that they had to fire people over that. It's a big mess.
Yes, it is a big mess, but talk about in tonight's games in the NHL. Talk about nobody would want to watch this game. The Arizona Coyotes against the Minnesota Wild. I like Kirill Kaprizov. He is turning into being one of their best goal scorers in the game right now.
Yeah.
And then talk about the Red Wings. Let's talk about their progress right now. Let's see if they played last night. The Detroit Red Wings, however, it looks like they did not play last night. So when was the last time the Detroit Red Wings, surprisingly, they beat a really good Vegas Golden Knights team? How shocked are you about this win?
Not shocked. They're a young team. They're going to have big wins. They're going to have inexplicable losses. It comes to the territory of having a young team, but they look way better and have a lot more excitement to them right now.
Yeah, they have excitement. This team has such a bright future. And then the Maple Leafs, surprisingly, they've overcome a really bad start to be 7-5-1.
Yeah.
So which team do you think that we will see two teams with the best records in each conference meet in the Stanley Cup final?
No, there'll be an upset somewhere.
Why do you think there'll be an upset somewhere in the NHL playoffs and not see the number one teams go head-to-head in the Stanley Cup championship?
It's really tough to make it to the Stanley Cup finals. A lot of these teams are pretty good, and a few points one way or the other doesn't really mean you're significantly better than the other team.
So, talking about here, the Panthers are 10-1. Are they a team that could be in the Stanley Cup final to represent the Eastern Conference?
They could be. I mean, they're up there. So the Hurricanes are up there. Washington's going to be up there. So yeah, they got. There's going to be some good competition out there.
What about the Edmonton Oilers and the St. Louis Blues? Those are your top two best teams right now in the Western Conference.
Yeah, they might be heading to a conference final showdown.
That would be epic.
Yeah.
And then the Ducks. Oh my God, it's the Ducks. The Ducks are in the playoffs. Do you think the Ducks are going to maintain this?
Their GM just got suspended, so there might be.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, apparently there's over words and he was saying and how he speaks to players and all that, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, but I think they'll have to overcome that this season too.
And then the Sharks are the wild card team. They were supposed to be bad. What do you think of that?
Yeah, they're going to be. I think they're not going to hang in. They'll be worse by the end of the season, but the Flames are pretty good too.
Will they hang in there for the whole season?
No.
Why not? Now, it's because of Darryl Sutter, though.
Are we talking about the Flames?
Calgary, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll be in the playoffs.
What about Edmonton?
Oh, yeah. They'll be there too.
But do you think Vegas will be in there too?
Yeah, I think they will.
What about Colorado? Don't panic on them just yet.
No, I think they'll be in there too.
Yeah, so anyways, Matt, we'll talk to you next week, and we'll talk about Week 11 of the NFL season next week.
Okay, Loro. Have a good week.